Okay, so we've done the difficult part last night, which is routing all of this stuff and laying it out on the board. However, I'm going to show you now how to transfer this design to an actual PCB. So we just go up to here to our preview, and we make sure we've got the correct stuff that we want to print. So we want the name on there. We don't want the silkscreen or the assembly. So that leaves us with just our holes, our traces, our pads, and our little writing here. So I'm going to make sure it's in the middle of the page just because that's how I print it on. And make sure we mirror it as well, because we're going to be printing it on the bottom. And then yeah, print in black only. You need to make sure your print scale's at 100% because that's the size you've been doing it at, and you're ready to print. So lots of people do use different methods for this. However, I use just the old heat transfer with an iron. So I print onto a glossy piece of paper, which I've got from Paul Scholes' £1 autobiography. It's full of lots of glossy paper, which is perfect for the job really. So I've just stuck it to this big piece of paper, and now my design has been printed onto the autobiography there, ready to be transferred over. So now we've got our print. The first thing we do is we clean our board with some acetone, just to get any grime and dirt off the surface, and make sure the transfer can stick to it. Once we've done that, we then use some steel wool or a scouring pad just to roughen up the surface as well to allow the transfer to stick a bit better. Then we're ready to line up and heat our transfer. So now I've lined up our design on the top of the copper, and I just place a little cloth or something over just to stop the iron from sticking to the paper. Next up, we iron it for about 3 to 4 minutes. We now just drop this into a load of water, let it soak for a bit, let the paper come off and peel it off. So I had to actually redo the heating process with another etch because the last one was a little bit wonky, but yeah, I've let this soak for a bit. So now it's just about slowly peeling off the paper to reveal the design. So I've now got all the paper off of this print, and it looks pretty good. Over this side there's a little bit of the traces aren't as clear. There's one slightly broken there. However, this is probably the best we'll get, home etching on with thin pads like this. So yeah, we're now ready to actually double check everything, double check the schematic, double check the PCB layout, and then we're ready to actually commit and etch this. Okay, so now I've double checked the board, it's now time to put it in this ferric chloride, which will then eat away at the copper, which isn't protected by the toner. So once I put it in here, this is an irreversible process, and you have to be careful not to get this anywhere else, otherwise it will eat through whatever it touches pretty much, which is metal. So yeah, here we go. So I've kind of realised it's taken a while because I think the fluid I was using before was a bit old. So I'm just going to top it up with some new stuff. And hopefully that will help the process along a bit. So yeah, let's try putting that back in there now. Okay, so the etching is now done. It always takes a while at the beginning and then ends up speeding up loads. But here, as you can see, there is the remains of the copper board with the toner still covering the copper. So underneath there, you can see from the other side actually, you can see the copper underneath. So now it's time to just double check all the traces and then clean off the toner, and then we then have our finished circuit board. So yeah, looking good. Okay, so now I have the finished etch there. I'm just going to use acetone again to remove the toner. You see it's coming on through there, revealing the copper.